cameras up. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard another Happy Harden Wednesday. We back with a solid Sixers victory. Once again, it's the live show, but if you don't catch us live, you can catch us on the platforms.
What's up, everybody?
Instagram.
Welcome aboard.
Do you want to turn that down, or you want to? You can catch us on the platforms: Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and that's it, right? Or we met Twitter or something. What we on the Twitter? But all right, but after I'm impressed. I can't say enough about what I'm seeing, and I was since the Harden came here, I've been a little bit more interested in what the national media got to say about the Sixers, because they haven't been talking about as much until Harden got here for real. Even though we was actually playing some good basketball, they haven't been talking about as much. But now that Harden here and we won a couple games, they still trying to say, oh, well, it's only against Minnesota and it's against the Knicks and they not good and blah, blah, blah. Like really, really trying to discredit us a little bit, or not trying to get caught up in the hype train, I guess. I'm all in the hype train. I agree with Big Perk, who said it's not who they doing it against, it's how they doing it. And I absolutely agree with him. If you look at even the Knights box scores, we got 25, 26, 27. Joel Embiid was the leading scorer, Harden 26, Maxey 25. I mean, this is the trend that we see through the last 3 games, and I think it's going to continue. What's your thoughts?
Well, first of all, let's not get it twisted with everybody saying talking about Minnesota. Minnesota actually been balling lately.
I agree. Thank you. I want to bring that up.
Team. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I know at one point after we played them, or after, like, I think yesterday, the day before, I looked at it, the last 2 games that they had lost was like both times off of back-to-back. That was they lost, but other than that, and I'm saying they was handling business. But that being said, I agree with you. You look at what the Sixers are doing. It ain't even about what other people playing right now. Because let's keep it a bean. The Knicks, before we got Harden, the Knicks was always a tough play for us. We alluded to that last year. You know, they played physical. They would beat up Embiid, and you ain't really had nothing else going on with nobody else. Now enter Harden into the picture, and it's like Harden plays the point guard so precise that sometimes you forget he that bold with scoring. And it's like, then he like, all right, let me get this basket real quick. Boop it. Step back 3. Go to the basket. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like we settled down or something. And then even look at the passes he was throwing. Like, it was like, even like he set Toby up in the fourth, like down the end, like he coming down the court. He like a little no-look bounce pass to Toby, and then Toby got fouled. He set one up with Bede like that. Bede got fouled. Like, his passion is so precise. And like you said about Maxey, like, you know, we were just talking about Maxey. Maxey could just go free. He ain't got to worry about setting nobody up and doing all that. It's like, listen, young boy, get the ball and go.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the only thing that's missing to make me feel like this a chip is I need Tobias. Well, Tobias actually in the fourth quarter of this game, he actually came to life a little bit. It looked like Doc started running a certain play. It looked like they started running a certain play set, like some kind of screen play set that was like, it was like they was purposely trying to set Tobias up to get him involved. And he scored like 7 points in the fourth. So, you know, we'll see. They need to show some more of that. I need to see a little bit more from Tobias, but at least he's hustling. He's playing defense. You know what I'm saying? He not saying it's great defense, but it's like, it's not like he's sulking around and like mad he not getting the ball in there. He look like he's trying to do anything he can to fit in because he wants to get that ring.
I agree.
So I just want to say, welcome Philadelphia, James. You got a chance to see that Philly cooking. You got to see what it's like to actually to have the crowd cheer for you. And he said he was a little nervous.
He already did in New York a little bit.
He said he was nervous. He said he was a little nervous.
He said he was a little nervous, and he said, he said he wanted to get the butterflies out. I think he said something like that. But you can tell he missed those first couple free throws. That just was totally unlike him. But he got it together. But I mean, he had 24, 9 and 9. So as a home debut, first time in Philly fans, that's pretty impressive. But the ball, Tyrese Maxey, that's going to be the X factor as far as how far we go in the playoffs, in my opinion. This ball, because one thing about Tyrese, he is fearless. And you got to be fearless to play in the league, especially when it comes to playoff time. crunch time. Because Harden got a little reputation as kind of not playing as well late into the playoffs, like kind of freezing up a little bit. So I don't know if that's going to relay here in Philadelphia, but he does have that reputation. And Joel, we know he hasn't gotten out the second round of playoffs, but so I
have a theory on that. But go ahead.
So I believe the boy Tyrese Maxey, because if you saw today, he ain't scared. He just ain't scared. Not. Did you see that spin three? He spent out the 3-pointer with the shot clock going down, and he knocks it down. He's going to take those shots. Those money shots, those big shots, they're going to come from the likes of Tyrese Maxey and probably Niang. I think Niang, he ain't scared either.
I mean, I think I agree with a lot of what you say. I think, and I agree with you, but I think ultimately it's going to come down to Tyrese and Toby. I think Toby is going to have to really be I like how Doc is trying to, keep him engaged, keep him in the offense, because if Toby could give you 17, 18, anywhere in that thing, 20, it's a wrap. If he get them a lot of them wide open shots he getting from Harden and B when he kick it back out, is over. It's over. Ain't nobody gonna be able to see it. But as regards Harden, I was watching an interview. I think I said this on the pod before. I was watching an interview with Draymond Green, and he was saying how Golden State played Houston in the playoffs. He said they would let him wear himself down because he was the only threat they really had, and he would dribble, shoot, dribble. And Green was like, I don't care who you are, what stamina you got, you're going to be tired. He said every single game, if you watch that Houston series, they was actually up. Houston was up every game, and he said came the third and fourth quarter, a lot of them hard shots started coming up short, and they just wore them down, and then Golden State just ran them off the court. So with this lineup, how he's playing now, that's not happening, because now you're working through Maxey, you're working through B. If Toby steps his game up, it's a wrap. So I don't see that. I don't think Harden was freezing up and choking. He was just tired, and that gave me insight to what was happening with him in them playoffs.
But that's the same. That's the same theory I thought. That's the same theory that I had with Harden and Embiid.
That's
because
I think
that's what they were saying about Embiid. He was like, he'll tire himself out in the fourth quarter, and that's what happens when you have to carry a team by yourself like that. So now you got two guys that could do that, and then you add Maxey in there, where whoever's guarding Maxey is going to have to be on APs and Qs. At any point in time, he could take off down the floor, and his finishing game is out. They were saying, like later on in the broadcast, they were saying how they were like last year that probably would have been a floater for Maxey, but now he's attacking. And remember, that's what we was talking about in the offseason. Maxey was working on finishing at the rim, and now when he gets in there and gets that he puts that little spin on them layups. I mean, he doing work.
Two things Maxey's working on. What's going on, fellas? I'm on my lunch break, Herb. Ellis, good point about them titles. We've been getting at him. Good, excellent point about Tim's titles.
What they say?
You muted yourself. He may be handling business. Yeah, he probably handling some business right now.
He handling business. But shout out to everybody here. I want to give some love. Juan Q, what's up? Mr. Wing, all y'all heard. Phil, I appreciate, we appreciate the love. I like the comment Phil said. He said we have a big three, and I agree. It's nice at this.
Real quick. So triplet three. Who you a fan of? Because you ain't a Sixers fan coming in here hating. Who you a fan of? What, you a Knicks fan? You a sorry Knicks fan? Like, or you a Nets fan? You one of them New York dudes? That's, he said the Sixers. We talking about what did he say? He said when we face a decent team, we gonna fold, something like that. Something along the line.
And he doubled down. He said Sixers are not winning no chip. Trust me, guys. You do not let your hopes get up. 3 good players in your entire team is not good enough. Yeah,
but this is my thing though. Everybody's saying 3 good players on the entire team. You talking about Tobias Harris, somebody who's averaging like 17, 18, like you were saying, if he scores anywhere near his average, even slightly below his average, here you have Maxey putting up 20 points a game. Embiid or Harden can at any point in time give you 50. You know what I'm saying? If they got to, if they not doubling down on them, you got Niang. I ain't gonna say about Danny, but Thibault's playing better. I mean, I ain't trying to hit everybody, because guess what? When it was Brooklyn, and they just had the big three, everybody was like, it don't matter who else they got. They got the big three.
That's true.
They won't beat anybody.
I'm gonna tell you like this: if Harden wasn't here, we lose this game. I'm confident we lose this game. The way we had the lulls, and Harden was stepping up, carrying the team, putting the team on his back. Even Maxey had big shots though. But if Harden's not here, we lose this. These are the type of games that we will end up losing without that other star on the team. And this is what I meant when I kept saying, I'm not gonna mention his name, but you need another player. When people kept saying he don't need to shoot and all sorts of stuff, but you need another player that can carry the load. This is what I kept saying. Dude is going to have to carry the load sometime to make it easier for B, because games like this would have lost.
I agree.
So
I think we would have won this game.
No, you won't have. No, you
we might have had better defense. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we gave up as many points. New York
number. We beat New York. New York is one of the teams that we just always beat.
Last year, last year,
and we lost them.
We was always.
What's our record against New York last year? We didn't.
We beat them. We lost them this year.
We always beat the Knicks. We beat the Knicks. They might have beat us one time last year. We don't check that.
But this is what the Knicks do this year, though. The Knicks play and then they lose in the fourth quarter. I think we come out this.
Every game I watch the Knicks, they've been in it or up. Almost every game. Out that Boston game, they lost. Like New York, actually, it's weird. They probably the worst team I done seen in the basketball this season. Where it looked like they's records. I think they're in the 12th seed or something. It look like they should at least be in the 8th seed the way they play 1 through 3, and then the fourth quarter they tend to fall apart in the fourth quarter. But I do agree, Pete Bars. He said Harden unlocked Thibault. I see that a lot too. He definitely got Thibault stepping his game up. I don't know and I think a lot of this, and from what I'm saying, I gotta say this. I have to believe a lot of this is behind the scenes. Like how he coached up Maxey, how Wayne was talking about how he coached up Niang that time. Like, yo, you a shooter, shoot the ball. He helped get people in their spots. If a boy like Harden is telling you nice and he coaching you up, that could go a long way just for your psyche to take you to that next level. Like, man, if he believes in me, I know I could do it. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Is this Doc's offense or is this Harden's offense?
It's Harden. It's Harden's house.
You got your point guard. You got your Doc. You got your coach on the court and you got your coach on the bench.
I agree.
And you need both. And you need that.
No, I agree, Tim.
Let's going back to I just want to also get the boy RJ Barrett. The boy, he's a baller. I mean that draft that came out. I think him, Zion, and John. Them three are true ballers. I mean, they said Zion about
is Zion a baller?
No, Zion a baller. He just
Zion, when he's playing, he
a bowler, a serial bowler.
Ain't none of it as good as John playing, as good as Durant.
He out like Embiid been out the last when he first came in the league.
Yep. Listen, as good as John
Embiid wasn't getting injured and all the way out of shape like that. Embiid wasn't fat when he was out.
I mean, that's what's hurting. But you talking about his weight now. I'm talking about his game.
But his weight is why he keeps getting hurt. He's carrying too much weight.
I know, but I'm talking about you saying, is he a baller? That's not. I don't think.
So if he doesn't lose the weight, is he a baller if he don't lose the weight?
Yeah, he's still a baller. He's just gonna get hurt.
Then now he gonna ball if he ain't balling.
He's a baller.
How you gonna be a baller if he ain't balling?
My thing is, when he was on the court, his stats was incredible. Incredible rebounds, field goal percentage, points. He's averaging over 25 points a game, like 60% from the field. His stats was incredible. And his defense, he blocking shots and all that. So he just got to get down to his weight to be suitable enough to stay healthy. But he's still a baller. Don't get it twisted.
He killed Ben Simmons when we played him, if y'all remember.
I don't remember that.
He killed the whole team. He killed the whole team. I remember.
Jay Carr, Ben is a handicap. I agree with you. Actually, the truth be told, though, no, I'm playing around Ellis. I ain't hating on Doc like that. I think Doc is a solid coach. My thing is, I'm gonna say this, and we ain't probably never gonna be past this into this year. But Ben was the best thing that happened to Max. Ben flaking out was the best thing that happened to the bull Maxey. It allowed Maxey to get all the experience he needed to become the great player that he's about to become, or at least the very good player. I don't know. I'm not going to say he's going to be great, but the very good player he's going to become thanks to Ben. Because with this playing experience, it helped take Maxey's game to another level.
Let me ask y'all this question, though. Was Embiid holding Maxey back?
No. Why would you say that?
Because Embiid hold Maxey back.
Because a lot of times Maxey was like, get me the ball. I mean, Embiid was saying, get me the ball, be a point guard. Like, kind of not allowing him to
stop. Hey, I'm gonna cut you short now.
I'm just saying.
First of all, we already saw. So when him and Embiid was playing, when Embiid came back from the injury, and him and Embiid started playing, and they was both putting like 28 points up in certain games. And the difference is Harden draws so much attention. You have to watch him, because if you don't watch him, he could either step back and jay your eyes out, he could take you to the basket, or he could kick the ball. So you have to, if you have two players of that caliber that you have to pay attention to, somebody like Maxey is free to do a whole lot more. That's all. That's simple as that.
Listen, I agree. I mean, Harden's open up. He's putting, I think somebody said it early in our first Harden podcast. He said he puts everybody in their right position. And I agree. I've been saying this about Maxey. Maxey's a two guard to me. And this now unlocks him. He don't have to dribble as much. Tim once again wants to start hating on B. Out of his subconscious love for Ben, he feels almost obligated, dare I say, to hate on Joel B. It's sick. It's sick. It turns my stomach, but I understand where it's coming from. I understand where it's coming from, but that's cool, because it ain't going to stop. Tim hate ain't going to stop what's about to happen.
That's not true.
So triplet three and all the other haters who want to pop in and all that I got a dude who I work with. He love the Bulls, and he think Triple Three might be a Bulls or Miami fan. He think the Bulls is going to knock the Sixers off and all this stuff. It ain't happening. I got to. It's not happening.
The Bulls don't beat playoff teams. All that wins. The majority of the wins against teams 500 and below.
Guess what? We beat the Bulls 4 times without Harden. So I mean, don't throw the Bulls up. Miami is legit. And the Bucks is legit, but I still think that we beat the Bucks with Harden. I think that we're a better team than the Bucks. I know I sound like a homer or whatever, but I think Miami, because of their defense and their depth, is going to be a tough out for anybody in the playoffs. But
I still think that I'm still nervous about Boston. Boston, they finally gelling as a team, and they play good defense. Say what you want, but they are a top 10 defense.
Did they win tonight? What's they playing?
Well, guess what? I think New York is number 7 in defense. So what that mean?
But they're not 7. They don't have a top offense.
Yeah, you just told me about some top 10 defense. New York a top 10 defense.
They got three great scorers, and then they got the beat stopper.
Who are they 3 great scorers?
They got the Bull. They got.
Yeah, exactly. Don't tell me about they got 3 great.
They got 3 good scorers. They got.
Who you talking about? Miami.
Boston. Who's Boston 3 great scorers?
No, they just got 2.
They got the 2, and then they got another Bull. I forget his name.
Who you talking about? Smart?
Oh, Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart is a good scorer, but that's not what I'm talking
about.
He's solid.
Who?
He's solid.
Who you talking about? Schroeder? Do they even got Schroeder? Who are you even trying to say?
Plus, they got the Bull. They also got the Bull from San Antonio that they picked up, the point guard who's been playing tough. They got a nice team.
No, Boston, I'm not hating on Boston, but I'm not worried about it. With Harden in the lineup, we're a totally different team, and we'll eventually see. We got a nice streak of games coming up. We play the Bulls, we play Miami. We actually played Miami on a back-to-back against Cleveland. So we play Cleveland Friday, the Bulls Saturday, Miami Monday. I think the Nets like Thursday. So, and KD probably back for that next game. I think he's supposed to come back tomorrow, somebody said. So it's going to be interesting how this next week is going to show us a lot about this team as we try to gel and get ready for the playoffs.
Hey,
and I think it's going to be a smooth sweep.
I think we play Boston this time. It's going to be harder to get that help defense. Horford does play B well, but it's going to be harder for Boston to get that help defense now.
I agree.
Yeah.
Really?
Phil, Miami has Adebayo. Adebayo's a decent center. I still think that.
Bam a baller.
Yeah, no, he asked who's Miami center. Miami does have a decent center. Miami got a bunch of shooters on their team. So even though they don't got now the only thing about Miami, they really don't got that one dude that you know what I'm saying, like that one like Harden type player or B type player that could just go off on a regular on you. But they got a team and they play that team concept. So kind of like the old Detroit team, you know what I'm saying, where you have a bunch of.
That's the only team I'm worried about. Be honest with you. Bucks the only team I'm worried about. Bucks really the only team I'm worried about.
J Carr, me too. J Carr, I think you just put the @ symbol and then a name to @ somebody. I think that's how it works in this joint. I don't know if it pulls somebody's name up when you hit the @ key. But I agree with Ethan. The only team Miami, they're a solid team, but I'm more worried about the Bucks than anything. I agree with Ethan. But right now, the way we rolling, I'm not worried about nobody. Nobody.
Let me ask y'all something. I don't want to change this subject. Let me ask y'all something. Basketball topic. But 2 things. The announcer tonight, it's two dudes that show love to the players nowadays: the AI and Isaiah Thomas Zeke. And the announcer brought that up too tonight. He brought it up about how AI shows so much love to this new generation, and the old school ballers don't. Like Charles Oakley comment about Giannis. How y'all feel about Oakley comment about Giannis? You think Giannis would be a bum back
took
then?
too many hooks today. He took too many hooks to the head, or too many elbows to the head.
I think
rabbit mind. He got his rabbit mind. Giannis would own them.
No, Giannis would be Dale Davis.
You watch a rabbit mind.
He be Dale Davis. One of them. You know how the Davis boys
smoking.
He built just like the Davis boys. Remember Antonio Davis and Dale?
Such a disconnect between the old school and the young boys, like old schools, like what we used to do nowadays, boy, we was like this. The disconnect is so huge, and the game changed, and players get better, they get more athletic, they get bigger, they get stronger, they get quicker, and the disconnect between the old generation and young generation, to me, the gap is too big.
It's sports science, bro. It's sports science. It's sports science. These guys are big. What the Davis boys going to do? What is the Davis boys going to do against Giannis?
Hold on.
Which one of them got a handle? Which one of them got a handle?
Hold on. Hey Tim, put the question in the comments. Let's see how many people think Oakley was right.
Yeah, Cecil N said Oakley was right. I don't agree with that at all. Tim,
they got to be old heads. They got to be over 50. They got to be over 50.
You know how everybody would compare LeBron to an athletic Karl Malone? The Bull Giannis is like an athletic David Robinson. You know how David Robinson is all muscular and cut up, ripped up? Giannis, that's Giannis. Like David Robinson, what was Oakley doing against David Robinson? Was he stopping the Arab Mo? The Arab Mo had, I don't know if it was against them. I forget who was against. Arab Mo had 71 points in one game. The Arab Mo was a machine. And the Giannis is even more athletic than him and just as muscular and ripped up. He's huge. Come on, ain't nowhere in the world. There's nowhere in the world they would stop. They would have to have Mason, Oakley, and who was the other boy they had? They would have to have all of them jump on Giannis' back and try to literally hold him down to keep him from scoring. That's what had to happen. And
he's called the Greek Freak for a reason. You know what I mean? Come on, stop.
That's what I'm saying. Like, stop this. I
get
like the same boys that imagine David Robinson with a handle. Exactly, Carr.
That's like the same boys that be hating on Brian and be talking about something. Yeah, Brian back then they wouldn't have did. Brian is built like Karl Malone with a handle and can shoot. You say what you want. LeBron can shoot threes. He shot a better 3 percentage than Kobe for his career and shoot more threes per game than Kobe. And we consider Kobe a great shooter. Not saying I do think Kobe's a better shooter because I think Kobe has a better shot. But that being said, LeBron's shooting the same statistics as Kobe from outside.
Jordan would
have had him destroying him.
No. Jordan would actually. The truth be told, Jordan showed you what sports science was about, because Jordan actually was more athletically gifted than probably 90% of the NBA. So you dropped a dude who was a freak athlete. He had a 46-inch vertical coming to the league. Now you think about it, he was tall, he was athletic, had a handle. Most shooting guards at the time was probably 6'2", 6'3". So now you got a 6'6" dude with hops out the building, athletic all the way around, and he dominated the game. And also he had a killer instinct as well, but it showed you what athletics and a killer instinct mindset could get you, and that's what Giannis got. There's no way they would stop him. He'll be better back then than he is now, in my opinion.
Let me give you this. Look, the dunk contest is whack now because anybody can jump. Anybody could jump and dunk now. Back then, it was like a certain few guys that could jump. Like, everybody can jump now. Like, everybody can't jump as good as everybody else, but everybody can jump now. That like you got just no-name random players that could jump out the building. The athleticism of today is far beyond anything in the 80s and 90s. Like, y'all got to stop. And I'm an old head, bro. Listen, I'll be 50 soon. I grew up on that basketball. Like, let's be real. Ever since the 2000s, the athlete's been different.
DeMarco made a point. Always do think they can just
What'd you say?
Stop you. He said,
yeah, exactly.
Foul you
Who said that? DeMarco? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's facts. Hey, Redmond, I'm not saying I agree with you. I think he is one of a kind. That's why I don't think he stopped. I'm just trying to give a closest comparison I'm thinking about when I'm saying Giannis and David Robinson. But I absolutely agree with you. Like Wayne said earlier, he's a Greek freak for a reason. This dude is a freak of nature. You ain't never see nothing like him. Just like KD. Like you drop KD, as skinny as KD is, you drop KD back in the 80s, he gonna shoot everybody lights out. You ain't had nobody 7 feet with a wicked jump shot and a handle like that. Come on, man.
I agree KD would be the best player. I still think he's one of the top 2, top 3 players right now. He definitely would. He has a 90s game. Giannis,
man, they thought Dirk was a problem.
But how do you think Giannis is a physical player? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Dirk. Yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
Dirk was a baller, but as big as Dirk was, as slow as Dirk was, he was killing dudes. So you telling me KD go back there and like when Dirk first came in the league and KD playing the way he playing, he would have killed the league. But this is my other thing. This was I get it. Listen, the Davis boys was all right for back then. They were nice power forwards. But this is the reason why you have like positionless basketball now, because you don't just got guys that's just big. That's why Andre Drummond is not dominating in the league. He get all these rebounds and he's big, but you got to be able to do other stuff. These guys are skilled now. You try to step in front of a Giannis and take a charge. He Euro stepping around you and dunking on.
That's the thing. They got the option of Euro step too. They didn't have the option of Euro step back in the 90s. So now they can. You act like only
the Giannis
Andre is allowed to Euro step.
So and you know what else they didn't have back then?
Average 22 in the 90s.
You know what else they didn't have back then? They wasn't allowed to play. They wasn't allowed to play zone defenses. So you had to play man to man on people. So if he's playing in the
90s, then there's no Euro step for Giannis. And that means
it ain't gotta be. He's gonna beat any of them in the foot race. Who's gonna catch it?
No, he's not.
You know what? Somebody said there's no D in today's game. You know the difference between today's game? You gotta start guarding somebody at half court. That's the difference today. You have to actually guard the entire court. Like when Gary Payton and them was playing, you should have seen these dudes average like 1 or 2 3-pointer a game. Like the best 3-pointers wasn't janking threes like they are today or hitting at a clip like they are today. So you didn't have to guard the entire court like you do today. You know, you got to run from court to court, end to end. So it's actually harder to play defense. They don't play D no more. It's harder to play defense now. Dennis Rodman, listen, Dennis Rodman, the greatest defender of all time. You imagine him chasing Curry and these Bulls around the 3-point line. He'd be getting his shoes.
Curry wouldn't have lasted that long. He'd have been injured the whole time because he got getting banged up around.
See, but this is deep. First of all, let's be clear about this. Let's be clear.
Real quick, let me say this about Curry. You say what you want, but if Curry catching the same kind, if he running off of screens like Reggie Miller was running off of screens, ain't nobody touching Curry running off of screens and shooting them wide open shots. I don't care what you talking. And then they still got to dribble.
And this is my thing. Everybody acts like every team in the 90s was the Knicks. They wasn't. Cleveland didn't play that style of basketball.
They had a lot of teams that weren't, though.
Sixers didn't. No, they didn't. They had more that didn't. The only team that really played that style of basketball was the Knicks, and the Pacers did a little bit with the Del.
And Miami
did. The Charlotte Hornets did.
Charlotte Hornets
really did. They had Zoe and they had Larry Johnson.
And Zoe played a very physical brand.
And guess what? You know what? Because like Mr. Wing said, back then they would just run through people, and that's why their careers are so short, because they was playing football without pads.
See, but look. Once again, my point is. Name the teams on the West Coast that was playing bully ball. Name one. Name one team on the West Coast that played bully ball.
All of them.
Exactly my point. So all these teams, all these bruisers, and nobody could play. They would have got muscle. It's fictional. It's in people's minds that the game was so much more bully because you did have a hyped up. You had a lot of media attention go toward Detroit when Detroit was doing it. Matter of fact, when Detroit was doing it, they was the only team doing it. Isaiah Thomas even told you that. He said, "Can I finish, please?" He said we was the only team playing that type of defense. Nobody else. Matter of fact, they was trying to ban that type of basketball because they didn't like it. Most teams didn't play like that. Then you had a couple more teams trickle and start playing like that, but the league wide it wasn't like that. Stop.
Puma's right. He said Sixers so good we ain't even talk about it. And listen, this is what I don't want to get. With the Sixers, back Sixers real quick. I don't care that it was the Knicks.
You brought this up. You did this. You did it. Where you at?
You gonna throw a grenade in the room and then
and then I gotta go back. You did this.
Get back in track because a lot of people try to hate on what the Sixers are doing, saying, "Oh, just the Knicks was just it." I don't care who the team was.
That's subscribe button.
we beat the team that was in front of us twice, and we throttled them. Knicks put up a fight. They got decent players. They got Randall. They got nice little squad. They got great coach in Thibodeau. So who's a defensive genius?
No, they didn't, Mr. Wayne. The Bulls was crushing them. It wasn't everybody else. When the Bulls didn't play, Houston won 2 titles out the West. So it wasn't the East crushing the West. It was the Bulls beating everybody. And when the Lakers was winning, the Lakers was beating everybody. Boston had a couple championships, but that's who it was. It was the only team. It was like 4 teams that won championships in 20 years. It was the Lakers, Houston, Bulls, Boston, and Detroit. It was like 5 teams in 20 years that won championships.
Was violent.
And the Sixers won one in there.
Yeah, Sixers 83.
All right, can we get back to the game?
But all that being said, back to the game, like we were saying earlier, everybody was trying to discredit what the Sixers did, like Ethan mentioned too, about the Knicks and about Minnesota. Minnesota actually been playing very good ball. Minnesota's actually in the hunt for the playoffs. I think they're like a 6 or 7 seed or something like that. They just beat Golden State. I mean, a little undermanned team. They have Clay and Draymond. But a win is a win. They still been winning. They've been in competitive in almost all the games that they playing as well. So Minnesota ain't no slouch team either.
But that's why it's funny. What you say?
I think Boston played. I'm trying to see if they won. They won because Tim was hyping them up. Miami and Milwaukee played. That's all I was looking at.
Yeah, but see, it cracks me up though, right? Because somebody sit up here and they'll talk about and they'll try to throw these teams out in the East. Yeah, well, the Knicks. I mean, not the Knicks, the Nets and Boston, and they rank like 6th and 7th in the East and stuff like that. But then when you talk about a team over there like Minnesota who's balling and getting their way back in the playoff contention, they trash. But when you look at how they've been balling in the last month, like you see that they actually been balling. So that's what I'm saying. I ain't trying to hear all that. We gonna see though.
Every game the last month, they only won like 2 games in the whole month of February. The Knicks, they stink.
But guess what?
They're a fighting team that fall apart in the fourth quarter.
And we handling people. Let's not forget. And we talking about Milwaukee. The Sixers beat Milwaukee without Harden. But for the playoffs, for the All-Star break, we done beat Chicago 3 or 4 times this year without Harden. So let's say that we beat Golden State without Harden. Like don't act like the Sixers was straight trash. And now all they got is this, that, and that. But we gained Harden. All we gave up from what we had earlier this season. I know we traded Ben, but Ben didn't play. All we gave up was Seth Curry and Drummond.
Ben didn't play when he was playing.
I do got to say, Harden. In all fairness, the bench scares me a little bit. In all fairness, the bench does scare me a little bit.
Shake actually looked pretty good tonight too.
It's pretty much the same bench though.
But it's not.
Who on the bench? Who on the bench scares you?
Bench. Let me just jump in. It's not a dependable bench because we saw
Court got it
do in the playoffs in the second round. So I agree that bench. To rely on Shake Milton for our to be our lead, and I don't understand, Doc. At this point, Korkmaz can't play. He should not be in the league. Should not be playing. If anything, give the boy Isaiah Joe a shot, please.
Let's get Nick Stauskas. Remember Nick Stauskas? He in the G League tearing it up.
Yeah, Korkmaz had been very, very disappointing this year. I think all of us, at least,
he started out hot, fans.
We hope.
It just.
Yeah, we hope he was going to make that next level jump, but he's been playing like trash. For some reason, Danny Green cannot hit 2 3-pointers back to back. He can't do it.
That's them knees.
He can't. He hit 1 out of every 4 or 3. He cannot hit 2 2-pointers consecutively. I don't think I saw him do it since last year.
Can't.
But Wayne, they said you spitting facts. I agree with you too, Wayne. I'm convinced that the Sixers, with this addition of Harden, has put themselves on a next level class. Everybody still got. I cannot wait for Ben to play, because it's this overwhelming. Just mindset that Ben is going to make the Nets so much better.
Ben is gone. There's no reason to be talking about that man.
No, because they talk about him on the thing. They keep mentioning him. This is why they know why we're talking about him, because they're
going to keep talking about him until he plays.
They mentioned the Nets as a team that prospectively can contend with the Sixers, and his name is one of the reasons why. Obviously, Harden, Kyrie, and KD, and then they say, "Yeah, well, you add Ben," and I'm like, "Okay, y'all keep thinking that. Watch this."
In order for our best to succeed, to be honest with you, Harden's going to have to play 40 minutes a game in the playoffs because he's going to have to get the bench players buckets. He's going to have to get everybody in position to score because he's really our only point guard on our team. We don't have a backup.
I agree with that. He actually unlocked Shake this game too. Shake looked incredible for his
40 minutes a game.
I hear what you're saying, but we played without James Harden this whole time, and we wasn't stinking. So you telling me that we can't go
in the fifth spot?
Okay, I mean that's what I heard. So but if you're telling me how drastically bad we are without a point guard, we played that way without him all this time and still was in the fifth spot. So you telling me for a quarter or for some minutes in the second and fourth quarter, he can't sit down and we not collapse all the way? I don't believe that.
Yeah, no, we won't collapse.
I don't believe that.
We was collapsing. We had collapses during the season. We have collapses with our bench. Wayne, we didn't have collapses with our bench. Be honest.
A lot of people had collapses with their bench at times.
I think I kind of agree with Wayne. Even when we was in the fifth seed, we was only like 3 to 4 games out of first place. It wasn't like we was far below. Remember, it was a point in time where it was like a 3-game gap between team 5 and team 1. Yeah, and it's still not that far.
And we were down that far because Embiid was out for like 2 weeks. But
at that point, you didn't see us competing with the Milwaukee's and Miami stuff.
Why didn't we? Why not? We beat Chicago 3 times.
And 7-game series. I'm talking about playoffs. 7-game series, you didn't see us competing with those type teams.
Why not?
Right?
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I'm not saying we was going to win. I agree with you. I think Harden definitely makes us a title contender. I'm convinced.
But that's the point. That's the point.
I think what Wayne's saying is that they was acting like we was trash, and now Harden brought us up to respectability. We was a solid team, and now Harden took us to the championship level. That's what I think happened. Is that what you're saying, Wayne? Are we on the same page?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, no, I am. And what I'm saying is I get what y'all saying. I do want to back up point guard. But the team that we have the team that we have right now, we managed to play that way without a stud point guard before. So now you put Harden in the mix. Now, like how you said, where our bench was killing us before. Now you don't have as much of that lapse because now you can have Maxey running the point for periods of time while Harden's on the bench and stuff like that. You don't have to have a point of time where you have your complete whole bench in there and nobody can manage it.
Yeah, I agree, but I just think a nice backup solid point would be nice.
I do too.
Even dare I say like a TJ McConnell.
Well, I don't want you to say that, so don't say that.
well, listen. I got one thing. I just want to say, me personally, I appreciate that Daryl Morey didn't go out and get Halliburton and Hield, and I'm appreciating that he didn't jump the gun and get panicky and go get CJ McCollum. Like, we got to get CJ. I'm glad Morey waited. I'm glad Morey waited. We ain't
win nothing yet. So you don't jump the gun. You're jumping the gun.
I mean,
listen, I just said I'm happy. I just said I'm happy he didn't make those moves. I'm glad he got hard.
Totally jumping the gun.
I said I'm happy he got hard. What I say?
Because you trying to show off like, oh, we did better than we don't know how.
No, because y'all was in here ripping Mori, you on the clock. You on the clock. They better get such and such. And he made the move.
Listen, I still firmly believe. I will never back off of this. Mori fell behind backwards into this trade because it melted down the Nets with Kyrie not getting the vaccination and all that, KD getting hurt and the team starting to plummet at the perfect time. And I say that because Mori, own words, he was kind of letting you know that things wasn't looking good when he said, well, we might go now to a top 40 player instead of top 30. And he also said, we might not even be able to trade Ben this year. We might have to sit on Ben until the offseason and make a trade in the offseason. So he was kind of conceding until that thing fell apart. Now he got it done. So I tip my hat to him. But I firmly believe it was almost by happenstance that it happened now. But
I think it's sportsmanship because you had people coming in trying to lowball him because they thought he was behind it, and he was like, "Oh, all right, well, you know what I'm saying." But he also said that he was willing to hold Ben for 4 years.
Okay. So you asked me, you telling me if Nets was
he said he was going to get a star player.
If Kyrie didn't get hurt, I mean, if Kyrie got vaccinated and KD didn't get hurt, and Nets was number 1 seed, you think Harden would have left?
I don't know because I don't think that the vaccination was the only reason that Harden felt that way. Remember Kyrie was taking games off last year for personal reasons and just disappearing on the team. That's why Harden said he didn't like the professionalism.
No, I agree with that. But if you win it, if you number 1 seed, he ain't leaving. Trust me, he not leaving. If they number 1, number 2, he not leaving that team. But we got it. I'm good. So we all happy. Everybody happy. Harden happy. KD gonna be.
That's
mad
all I said.
Ben
I'm just happy we got Harden instead of holding Ben.
I don't even. But my thing is though, I'm not. I mean, if
that was my
put it like this.
That was hold on. That was only my point, Mr. Wayne. Hollenberg trade does set Sixers up for after B. That was my only point. Now the point is, the only way you could beat your chest is if we win. If we don't win with James Harden ever, it wasn't a successful trade.
That's what I told you. I said those are my words. And I said
we don't win.
That's garbage. There's only one team that wins a year. So you telling me if they get to the chip and they lose to Phoenix, who was just in the championship last year, that it's a failure of a year?
He dropped the mic on you and blacked the screen out to show you how done he was with you, bro.
Do you understand how hard it is to win a championship? Mori did what he was supposed to do to put us in the best position. The trade he made to get Harden is the best chance we would have had to be in a championship this year. None of those.
I'm not going to say that.
Remember when we was talking about trading Ben for Brogdon?
No, I'm not going to say. I want to make 2 points real quick because I kind of agree with Emo. He said they finessed the 2 worst round picks for a player they was going to lose in 4 months. I agree with that a little bit, but I also agree if we would have gave up for Harden, if we'd have offered that package to any other team, we could have had a bench, several starters. We gave up Ben, 2 first picks, Seth, Andre, and Drummond. If we'd have offered those 5 things to Golden State, if we'd have offered that to Sacramento, if we'd have offered that to Portland, if we'd have offered that to any other team, we probably could have got Dame for real. If we'd have, I don't know, Dame ain't want to go. Dame any other team, we could have got a king's ransom for those 5 assets. But we got Harden. I'm cool with Harden. I'm not mad at all because I do think that he sets everything up right. But I'm not saying that if we would have got something different, we still couldn't have been set up to make a championship run. What we gave away. That's all I'm saying.
But that's all I'm saying about this whole thing about the future, bro. You could draft if you're not that good. You can draft players anyway.
Draft who? Look at our last draft.
You're not drafting nobody when you
games.
What our last draft pick? What Maxey and Thibault?
We not. Look at our drafts for the last 5 years. Who do we got? Who we got on our team?
Yeah, because you had Brett Brown. You had Brett Brown doing the drafting. Who you draft with Brandon? When Brandon and another guy we got now here with them here. Who we drafting now?
King Maine. I agree with
you. Remember we also drafted Bridges. We drafted Bridges, but Brett gave him away. I mean,
I said if we don't win the chip with Harden with the next 2 to 3 years, it's a failure because we're going to try to rebuild the team and we traded away stock we need to rebuild the team with. That's all I'm saying. First of all,
the first draft pick we gave up was next year's first round. Where do you think that draft pick is going to be? That draft pick is going to be like the 32nd. It's going to be like the 27th pick in the draft. That's the first one. And the second one down the line, it may be. But guess what? Before that happened, you can make all kind of trades in the meanwhile to get draft picks.
Listen, William Conway, I agree with you. I don't think somebody said the draft is trash. I agree. Too many young players come. It's hard to decide who you're going to get to build your team around through the draft. Go ahead.
This is funny. Tyrese Maxey said James Harden asked him at halftime if he was going to play today.
No, but this is what I do agree.
He scored 21 points after that in a half. 21.
This is what I do agree that and I was saying that behind the scenes coaching. I didn't even know that, but you could just tell from the stuff he was doing with Maxey before he even stepped onto the court, really coaching him up to play. Then, like Wayne said, we talking about Niang shoot the ball. Like you could see his impact outside of playing. And that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So these other players we was talking about possibly trading for, do you think we was going to get that same type of value?
No, we wouldn't have. No, we wouldn't have. I'm not oblivious to say that. All I'm saying is I think we could have got a lot of moving parts. Now, would it have been as impactful as just one Harden? Probably not. But we could have got a starter and some bench players to fill out. So the overall presentation may have helped to us to contend. But Harden by himself, I mean, I can't argue with that. I'll be a fool to argue with a top. Somebody mentioned the top 75 player of all time. I can't argue with that. The impact he's gonna bring, and how he's gonna set Maxey up going forward.
That's probably why Harden Chris Paul ain't really work as good as it could have, because you can't put 2 point guards who control teams on the same field.
I agree, Mr. Wing. You gonna stop coming at Harden? He keeps talking about Harden as a young black male whisperer. Yo, you gonna stop? You gonna listen? He good now, right? I remember he said he got his eye. He said Maxey caught his eye or something. You gonna stop coming at Harden like that? Look, Harden,
hey, listen,
like he taking the chip.
Y'all saying Harden was coming here regardless. We still would have had to do a sign and trade to get Harden here. So and the Nets still would have wanted some of the stuff.
Tobias was leaving us. He would have finagled Tobias out the door. And he got that money.
And guess what? He still can and still probably will finagle Tobias and bring in another stud player to play with the team that we got now. That's what he's trying to do.
I'm just hearing that James Harden got Tyrese Maxey loving lemon pepper wings. I don't know what that means.
But this all I'm saying is that's the other thing is how long did we sit through a process, bro? Look how long we sat through a process, and then everybody's saying, "Well, we could have."
There's 20 games left in the season. And what I'm saying is, if you don't win a championship, what you're saying is that James Harden, that same guy, that same person, you could have gotten an off season as he's walking away from his last team, Brooklyn,
and you still would have had to give something up to get him. You still would have had to give something up to get him.
As a free agent. As a free agent, because you know how would you, like I said before.
So how do you know? So how do you know Harden was going to come sign here for less than the max?
Well, he can only get the max contract. He wants to win. He wants
now because now he gets to get now he gets to get here and he gets a taste of this team. That's the whole point why you bring him now.
On the verge of losing him, and the offseason, they're not getting 2 first-round picks for him. They just
okay, Tim. Let me ask you this: How do you win a championship? You win a championship. Exactly. You win a championship by setting yourself up to win a championship. Now, whether you win it or not, that's all to be determined. I'm not going to say it's a failure because the only way you can win is you got to try.
You got to play the game. You got to be in the game to play it.
Exactly. And but you have to get the best players available to play that game. We got the best player we could on the market. We got him. So whether we win or whether we not, I'm not gonna say it's a failure because you tried. You went. You made the attempt to get the best player, regardless. So whether you saying you would have got him next year or this year, you trying to win a championship.
All right, that's the goal. Let me say this: you don't win this year. Next year, how does the team look with James Harden and Steph Curry and Drummond? And you still got your 4, and you still.
Who knows? You better keep Steph.
So how you know Drummond is coming back? How you know Drummond is going to come back when he was signing a 1-year deal this year because he wanted to make a name for himself so he can go get more money?
Options. How do you know he's not going to be back next year? My point is you don't.
But you're assuming that they automatically going to have the same team back next year.
But you still got Steph is still under contract. Those two draft first-round picks are still yours. You don't got to give up on them.
You're not just there. I don't care what you think. They're not just going to say, "Oh, our back against the wall. Just give us Ben Simmons and you can have Harden." You still going to have to negotiate.
We did that with Josh Richardson and for Jimmy Butler. Our backs was against the wall. Jimmy Butler is not James Harden. Well, the point I'm making is Jimmy decided that he was not re-signing with the Sixers. We were going to lose him, so we had to do a sign and trade. That would have been the same situation that was going to happen in Brooklyn.
You know what's different in that situation?
So they would have had to get something. They would have took Ben, and we would have got James.
No. You know what's different in that situation?
What?
Brooklyn also has Kyrie, and they have KD, so they can find somebody else to come in there and play with them, possibly. The Sixers, if they lose Harden, then you're still stuck with Embiid. If they miss out on that, you still stuck with Embiid and Ben.
You know how much all the stuff that they gave away for James Harden, they not gonna just let him walk away for
my
nothing.
thing. But my okay. So,
and that's why they not just gonna give it to you for Ben Simmons.
Okay, it's as simple as this. Can I get in? Let me get in. It's as simple as this. As simple as this. Are you winning the champion? Did you have a shot at winning the championship before we got James Harden?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. So that's the point. No. If you really didn't have a shot to win the championship, and now you have a shot to get them to win a championship, it's no conversation because now you get the. I don't care. So you were your thought process. Well, let's wait the next year to try to win.
No. You still got a chance to win. We were barely out of first place.
I don't think we was winning champion. We wasn't winning championship with this team.
We was barely out of first
place. Team. We'd have been out in the second round, maybe second. I don't even think we got to the Eastern Conference Finals. With Harden, we now setting ourselves up to win the championship. So you're taking a position, you're saying, well, let's wait the next year and let's see what we could give. We could gather all these players and let's go again next year. I'm not waiting next year. Next year, Beat is older again. He's a year older. Harden is a year older. Now, who knows? B could get hurt. Harden get hurt. But matter of fact, what we might have been the best situation because now we got Harden just 20 games up before the playoffs start. So now we ain't got to play him for a whole season. So now we got Harden who set out a couple games with the Nets because he was hurt or didn't want to play. We got Harden a little bit more healthy than he probably going to be for the rest of his career. So I'm taking it.
And this is my other thing when I talk about we talk about because Juan makes a good point, Juan Q. And Juan, this is something I've always said. This is why I had the biggest problem I had with Brett and us keeping Brett so long. It's a culture you build. We have an opportunity to build it. Even if we don't win this year, you're building this expectation of like we really are contenders. This is what you build. And if you sit there and say, oh, well, we'll wait till the offseason, that's a loser mentality. That's why we got stuck. That's what killed Ben. We sit there, we nurtured him in that loser mentality.
I agree.
That's one of the things that hurt him. But that's what I'm saying. I'm tired of this loser mentality. Let's go swing for the fences.
I agree. Ellis said, do y'all think if the Sixers win the chip and Tobias is a huge part, do you let him go?
Yeah.
You can if I can upgrade, yes.
Yeah,
I think
it's not only that. You got to get athletic at that position.
I don't care about athletic if we win a chip.
No,
I don't.
You do got to care because teams are more athletic.
Win a chip?
And everybody there's no height at that level. There's no height. There's no athleticism. You need athleticism somewhere on your.
So if we win the chip with that team, you telling me okay, just get rid of them, get an athlete in here.
You get something. You still upgrade. You still got to go better because
No. Listen, I'm always down to upgrade, but I'm all that athleticism stuff goes by to me. If we have a team good enough to win, I don't think you gotta just
get upgrade. Better and you stay the same, then you're not going to be good enough.
Who said you're not going to get better? Because for one, if you have a James Harden,
you got to get athletic. That's the league.
And guess what? You know how you get better? Because you have a James Harden and you have a Joel Embiid, and we know good.
Y'all just told me he's a year older. Both of them will be a year older.
We know good players like to come and play with other good players with a chance to win. When guys start getting up a certain point, that's how come Brown was always able to get all these balls because Bulls looked at going to Brown. You got a chance to win.
No, but they always
guess what?
Big three. You need athletes in the league.
Listen, I'm fine. I don't think.
So who's our athlete right now, Tim? Who's our great athlete right now?
We need a great athlete. We need
but are we contenders?
We have great shooting. We have great shooting right now. I'm
just saying, without athlete, are we contenders right now?
Is Tobias Harris a great power forward?
You ain't answering my question.
No, I'm just saying Tobias Harris. If you rooting for Tobias, is Tobias Harris the one? If you look at all the championship power forwards in the league, is he your top 5? Is he one? Is he one of your better ones?
No, but for somebody that loved Dale Davis and Antonio Davis, who wasn't doing nothing except for grabbing rebounds.
I agree with Juan. I think we increased our athleticism. I think Harden is more athletic than Curry. I would take Harden over Curry all day long. Curry's slow. His lateral movement, he ain't quick at all. He can't get a good defender will strap Curry kind of easily. For real. We increased with
rebounding, the forward position, helping.
Well, you ain't got to worry about rebounding when you shoot 50%.
We increased our rebounding as well with Harden. We increased our rebounding with Harden.
What about the other team?
So go ahead, Ethan.
We increased our rebounding with Harden.
Yep.
So I'm fine with that. We increased our athleticism a little bit with Harden, and we increased our overall scoring with Harden. And Harden puts Maxey in position. What you're seeing now is not an aberration. You're going to continue to see this. I'm convinced that, I'm not saying every night they're going to average 26, 27, 25, but you're going to see this team playing at a high level because Harden puts everybody back in a position. Harden is a savvy player. He can score. Like Ethan said, when we was down, Harden stayed the course. One thing Harden knows how to do is manufacture offense. And he's going to help us get there. And I'm cool with it. I don't think it was an all or nothing trade. See, you and Emo thinking it's an all or nothing trade. The only way it's an all or nothing trade if Harden leaves. If Harden don't leave, it's not all or nothing. Because y'all acting like Seth Curry. Y'all act like I was last year about Seth, like he was better than y'all act like I was last year. I'm off his train. He's a solid player, but y'all act like he's Steph or something. Like we really gave up Steph and Ben Simmons for Harden. And Drummond. Y'all act like they're not replaceable. This is what I'm saying. Like these are replaceable to me.
Okay. I do want to say
Harden is a one. He's a generational talent.
I do want to say, even if we won a chip, I'm not opposed to getting rid of Tobias Harris. I'm always down to upgrade. But that being said, hey Herb, you're right. We're not going to play the Knicks every night. But my point is, we beat Miami. Didn't we beat Miami without Harden? Didn't we beat the Bucks without Harden? Didn't we beat the Bulls without Harden? So yeah. So now you add a talent of Harden's caliber. That's why I'm saying I'm not afraid. I'm not as scared of their team in the East. When you giving me Embiid and Harden, and they didn't play like 3 games together, and they look like they've been together for like 5 years as a team. And when they get all the kinks out, I'm not afraid of nobody. I'm not afraid. I'm not saying predicting we gonna win, but I feel like we got a chance against anybody and probably a favorite against most of them.
I agree with that, and I agree with you, Mr. Wang. I've been saying this to Tim and Wayne for the last 2 years that Ben was holding the team back. He said Harden makes Ben's lack of scoring a bigger indictment because you saw how scoring points opens up the game. I absolutely agree. I've been saying this for forever. It's so evident it don't make no sense. So now we got a dude who literally doing this thing, and he's showing you what happens when you can score and how you draw attention away from Embiid, how you draw attention away from Maxey, and even Tobias. All Tobias got to do is start hitting his shot. He open. He getting so many open looks. He don't even know what to do. Tobias actually look a little gunshot to me at times. A couple times I saw he had an open look and he passed.
We mopping the net. We play the Nets. We mopping them, especially if that nut Ben Simmons on the court. Stop hyping Ben Simmons. All you gotta do is foul. He's scared to play in Philly. How you gonna play a series in Philly? He's scared to play a regular season game.
We good,
man.
His back hurt. Stop it.
Let that man be great. All right, y'all.
Let's see this week.
We'll be back on Friday, where we will be playing the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then we got a back-to-back, so that's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. Next 7 to 10 days is going to be very telling about this team.
Yeah,
it is.
But this is the episode of Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll catch you on our next podcast. We out.
Deuces.
Peace.